Born in 1925 in the idyllic Akokoro village, nestled deep in the heart of what was then the Lango district of British-controlled Uganda, Apollo Milton Obote's journey to the presidency was enthralling and far from the ordinary. He was born into a modest farming family, a lifestyle that would later shape his personality and political ideals. This humble beginning provided him with an intimate understanding of the struggles and hardships faced by the common people and instilled in him a strong sense of empathy and determination to fight for equality and justice. Educated within the local ecclesiastical administration, Obote was introduced early on to the structures of governance and leadership. He was known to be a charismatic and influential figure even in his early years. His character traits of resilience, determination, and a strong will to change the status quo made him a revered figure in the community. Obote's remarkable career began in earnest in the year 1957. He was elected to the Colonial Legislative Council, an important political body of the time. This marked the beginning of his journey into politics, providing him with the platform and the opportunity to influence and shape the future of the nation. His position on the council also exposed him to the realities of colonial, further fueling his desire to fight for independence and sovereignty. His political journey was marked by rapid ascension. By 1960, Obote had become a leader of the Uganda People's Congress, or UPC. The UPC was a powerful political party, a beacon of hope for the people of Uganda who sought independence from British colonial rule. The party represented the desire of the Ugandan people for self-determination, and Obote's leadership was instrumental in articulating and championing ideals. Obote's rise to prominence was meteoric. Just 2 short years later, in 1962, Obote found himself in the prestigious position of the Prime Minister of Uganda. This was a significant step in his political journey, marking a pivotal moment in his career and a remarkable feat for a humble farmer's son. His rise to the Prime Minister's office was a testament to his leadership, resilience, and his unwavering commitment to the cause of Ugandan independence. It was during his first term as Prime Minister, from 1962 to 1966, that Obote introduced the Common Man's Charter. This significant piece of legislation was not just a political maneuver, it was an embodiment of Obote's vision of a more equitable society. The Charter represented an ambitious program that sought to uplift the everyday citizen by advocating for economic equality. At the heart of this transformative agenda was to distribute wealth more evenly across society and to put the power back into the hands of common people. However, this revolutionary move was not universally embraced. It hit substantial resistance from the traditional kingdoms, who were deeply entrenched in their ways. These ancient power structures saw the Charter as a direct threat to their long-standing authority and influence. The tension between the progressive force of Obote's government and the conservative kingdoms escalated rapidly, boiling over into a full-blown constitutional crisis in 1966. This crisis was not just a political drama, it exposed deep-seated societal divides and stirred widespread anxieties. The clash of ideologies, the power struggle that ensued, shook the very bedrock of the nation. It was a defining moment in Obote's political career and a turning point in the country's history. Eventually, this crisis culminated in Obote's suspension of the constitution and the abolition of the kingdoms, a move that sparked controversy and unrest. This bold decision was a testament to Obote's belief in his mission, even in the face of fierce opposition and resistance. It was a pivotal moment that would forever change the course of the nation's history. In 1966, Obote ascended to the highest office in Uganda, an event that heralded the start of his first presidential term. This marked a significant milestone, both in his personal life and in the broader political landscape of the country. The Obote presidency was marked by a strong central government, an entity that held the reins of power with a firm grip. This government structure was wielded with an iron fist, and was a testament to Obote's belief in the importance of a single, unified center of control. His administration placed a strong emphasis on the economic development of Uganda. This was a time of sweeping changes and bold initiatives. Various economic programs were set into motion, aiming to uplift the standard of living of Ugandans. From infrastructure projects to agricultural reforms, was determined to transform Uganda into a beacon of growth and prosperity. However, despite these noble intentions, Obote's presidency was laden with challenges. It was a journey that was far from smooth sailing. His government faced a slew of criticisms and accusations. Among the most serious of these was the rampant human rights abuses. The citizens of Uganda lived under the shadow of oppression and fear. Allegations of illegal detentions, torture, and even extrajudicial killings marred the reputation of his administration. Similarly, Obote's rule was tainted by corruption. The scope of this corruption was both wide and deep, covering various sectors of the government. This systemic corruption and the lack of transparency and governance ignited a wave of discontent among the Ugandan populace. This growing dissatisfaction was not confined to hushed whispers and murmurs. It started to manifest itself in clear, visible forms of resistance. The people's discontent eventually sparked a revolution. This revolution was not a sudden explosion, but a slow, simmering discontent that had been building for years. This unrest finally reached its peak and led to his downfall in 1971. The man who toppled him was none other than his military general, Idi Amin. The end came while Obote was on a trip abroad, a turn of events that has been etched into the annals of Ugandan history. The years following his overthrow were tumultuous for Obote. After being overthrown, he found himself in the unfamiliar land of Tanzania, living as an exile, distanced from his homeland. During this time, his only constant was his fierce determination. It was in Tanzania that he undertook the task of reorganizing the Uganda People's Congress, UPC, the political party he had helped to found. This was no easy task, given the political climate and the constant fear of persecution. A man of resilience, Obote did not just stop at reorganizing the UPC. He his followers and led an armed struggle against the brutal rule of Idi Amin, who had seized power in his absence. It was a challenging period, fraught with danger and uncertainty. However, Obote and his loyal followers persevered, committed to reclaiming their homeland from Amin's oppressive regime. In 1980, following the of Amin, Obote seized the opportunity to return to Uganda. He was welcomed back into the political fold, and after a contested election, reclaimed the mantle of presidency. This second stint as president, however, was short-lived and was marked by growing discontent and political instability. In 1985, he was overthrown again in a military coup that rocked the nation's political landscape. Following his second overthrow, Obote was compelled to flee once more, this time finding refuge in Zambia. It was here, in this foreign land, that he lived out the rest of his life in exile, years removed from the power and influence he once held, until his death in 2005. In summarizing, Milton Obote's life and presidency were marked by a constant quest for control, intertwined with his persistent endeavors to establish economic parity in Uganda. Obote, a significant player in Ugandan politics, held the reins of power in a nation emerging from the shadows of colonialism. His rule, perceived as controversial by many, was a defining period in Uganda's history, acting as a catalyst in shaping its political arena. Obote's leadership raised the curtain on a narrative that plunged into the heart of post-colonial African politics, fraught with complexities and challenges. His presidency, with its numerous highs and lows, political battles and economic reforms, presents a vivid picture of a leader navigating turbulent times. The controversy and struggle that underscored his rule are unmistakable, making his story an integral part of Uganda's historical tapestry. His story, until now, remained largely untold, but his indelible mark on Uganda's historical canvas continues to resonate. A tale struggle, of controversy, but ultimately, of leadership. A story that, until now, remained largely untold.